Well, hi again, folks. I'm Greg Flynn, the Public Information Director here for the City of Pearl, with another edition of This Week in Pearl. On this week's edition, we will talk about the municipal election results. We will then go under the dome over at the state capitol with Senator Dean Kirby and Representative Gene Newman. And then we'll finish things up with a brand new ribbon cutting of a Wynn Job Center here in Pearl and a little bit of a Pearl weather alert for you. I want to get started now by giving you the Pearl election results from the primary that was held this past Tuesday, April the 6th. And many of you know that Mayor Jake Windham ran unopposed. He will be our next mayor for another 4 years with 1,826 votes in the primary. Alderman at large, this one is going to the general election. John McHenry defeated Barry Carpenter 1,503 to 332. So McHenry will now face off against Willie Moore, the independent, in the general election on June the 8th. In Alderman District 1, we have a changing of the guard as Sammy Williams defeated David Luckett by a count of 331 to 133. Alderman District 2, again, we're going to have a new face on the Board of Aldermen as Keith Dennis defeated Michael Sarter, the incumbent, and Bo Cammerdell by a count of 341 for Dennis. Sarter had 185 and Cammerdell had 37. Alderman District 3 was unopposed and Johnny Steverson will be back. He garnered 151 votes in the primary. District 4, Casey Foy, the incumbent, will be back as he ran unopposed with 127 votes. Alderman District 5, well, this one is going to go to the general election and will be decided on June the 8th between three candidates. James Thompson, the independent. Gary Spurgeon was certified the winner of the Republican primary this past Tuesday, and Willie Harvey, the Democrat, was declared the winner in his primary. He too was unopposed. So these three gentlemen will battle it out, and things are going to be very interesting leading up to the general election again on June the 8th. And in District 6, it is Gavin Gill, the incumbent, that will be returning as he ran unopposed with 298 votes. So very, very good turnout for the primary elections, and we certainly hope that we are going to see a big turnout for the two big races that will be on the ballot on June 8th in the general election as the Alderman at large, and for the folks that live down there in District 5, certainly we hope to get a big turnout from all of you guys. So that's a look at the election results. When we come back on This Week in Pearl, we go under the dome over to the state capitol where the legislature finished their business. You're watching This Week in Pearl on PMB TV.
Hello, I'm Mayor Windham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl to enjoy a Mississippi Braves baseball game or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Welcome back into This Week in Pearl. It is now time to go under the dome at the state capitol, and we're going to bring in our distinguished gentleman from Rankin County. It is the Senator, Mr. Dean Kirby, the Representative, Mr. Gene Newman, with a nice shot of the Capitol behind you. And right now it says closed, right? The Capitol closed because work is done.
Actually, it's wide open.
It's always open.
It is always open, but the job is done for this year, right?
Yeah.
That's correct. Unless the governor finds some reason to call us back, and he hopefully he's not.
That little special session bad word, right?
Yeah,
That nobody likes to talk about.
Yeah, we've had those. One of them was 87 days once. Yeah.
Well, do you feel good about the way this session went? Gene, I'll start with you.
Yes, we had a lot more money than we thought we were going to have at one point, and we were able to fill some holes and to do some things that we didn't expect we would be able to do.
Senator?
You know, I told the Lieutenant Governor after I saw how much money that Pearl and the other cities of Rankin County, plus the county itself, I said, we might want to change the name of Rankin County to Rockefeller. I'm telling you, the federal money that came in, plus what we get as the state gave the cities and the counties this year is unbelievable. We had, let's see, Rankin County is going to get about $30 million to spend on infrastructure, broadband, roads.
This is from
I'm
the
not
federal
sure the
government,
county
right?
is even
This is
really
from federal-
restricted.
From the federal government, okay.
Yeah, this is federal money.
This is
yeah.
from the Refuge
Rescue Fund.
Rescue
Fund,
Act.
yeah.
Refuge.
And then, of course, Pearl's going to get about, what, 5.6 million, I
Yes.
think. And Brandon's going to get right at 5 million. Flowood's getting close to 3. I mean, all these cities are getting money they've never had. And I'm glad that we have a good city administration to make sure that it's spent properly.
And again, it's one time, though.
It's one-time
That's the
money.
thing
You
you have to
can't
remember.
use it for pay raises, which we did that, by the way, not for cities, but for state and teachers. Yeah, it's one-time money, but it can be well used. And I know that our mayors and aldermen and our supervisors and sheriff and everyone else is very happy with what we're going to have.
The cities are limited on their money that they're receiving in this to sewage and water and broadband. The counties are not limited on how they spend their money to that like that. There's probably going to be some limits, but it's not specific like the cities are.
And I'm sure that the cities have plenty of needs.
I guarantee you, I know
and
what-
things that they thought they would probably never get that they're going to be able to do now.
Well, especially with all the commitment that Mayor Wyndham has to the infrastructure of our city and
Absolutely.
updating it anyway. So that's going to fall right into the wheelhouse of having that money for water, sewer, replacement pipes, all kinds of things. So,
Yes.
but outside of that, now you guys were able to proudly secure us funding to finish the Pearl Richland intermodal, correct?
Well, it's not. We needed $4 million total to finish it, but so what we've done is we were trying to do half and half over 2 years. You know, can't do it all in 1 year anyway. So we got $2 million in appropriations, and then we got $250,000 in bond money. So $2,250,000 total out of the $4 million that we need. And then we'll be able to finish it out next year.
Yeah, and we have commitments on that money. So from the chairman to make sure, and the lieutenant governor and speaker as well. So
Well,
that's
especially
gonna
for
happen.
you, this has been a very important project for you to get completed over there. Not only because it's good for economic development, but number one, public safety.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've said it, I think maybe on this program before about the fire truck stopped by a train and watching a home burn that they couldn't get to. And not just fires, but heart attacks or whatever may happen, an ambulance getting there. So, yeah, it's a big deal for Pearl. It's a big deal for Richland. So it's not just Pearl. And of course, like I've said before, that's truly a bypass of the stack and of Lakeland Drive. So, yeah, it's going to be a big deal. We're excited about it.
Excellent. I know that it's a state budget really came crashing down, when you had to at the last minute, but you guys were able to not only get the teacher pay raises pushed through, but also for state employees that many of them really needed that little extra bump up, right?
Absolutely. State employees are getting a 3% raise. That's a nice little bump.
Yes.
And it's almost all. I think there are a few excluded, maybe some that are making I don't want to say too much money, but a higher income.
Yes.
They may not be getting a 3. And there's probably some others that will have to come back and fill in, I would imagine, that got left out. But overall, yes, 3%. And we're excited about that. We have some really good, dedicated state employees. Now, I know there's jokes about all kind of jokes about state employees where 5 guys watch while the other one does the work and that type of stuff. I'm not saying that hasn't happened, but I'm telling you that we have some very dedicated, hardworking state employees. I mean, we had at the Capitol, we had some that would stay to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning during the session, and long days.
And that includes the junior college instructors who haven't had a raise in 8 years. So,
well, and so you're really bringing some people back up into speed. Especially, I know the teachers was a huge deal that you guys made a commitment. You got that out of the way very early on because it was such a priority, right?
Absolutely. It was the first bill we passed in the Senate this year. So, yeah, we're excited about that. It ended up being a House bill. So both sides obviously pushing that raise.
And that was $1,000 for teachers and for assistant teachers.
It was $1,100 for some teachers, like new teachers, I think, because we wanted to increase the starting pay.
Sure.
So and are we at the southeastern average? No. Are we close to it? Yes. A lot of times, like I saw on TV the other day, they compared us to the national average. We were 47, 49,000, something like that, our average teacher pay. The national average is 62. Well, again, as I've said before, you can't compare the national average. The standard of living is so much higher in New York and California. $62,000 in California is like making 15 here.
Yeah.
If you compare our standard of living, several years ago, matter of fact, we had a study and compared us to on the standard of living for teacher pay, and our standard of living, we were 16th in the nation at that time, and we've really upped it since then. So we could easily be in the top 10 based on the standard of living. Now, you're going to compare it, everybody wants to raise, so you use those other averages.
Oh, sure, they use the big ones.
But the southeastern average, we're still not quite, being the southeastern states, we're not quite where we need to be. I've always said that the only way you can get to the southeastern average is to give a pay raise way above the southeastern average, because every time we give a raise, the average increases.
We push the average up.
Yeah, so we got to go way up here to get back down to the average. So.
Well, more work to be done on that, but at least it was a good starting point. You, sir, had a pretty good criminal justice reform bill that you got passed this time.
right, Sheriff Bailey had asked us to introduce a bill that would allow sheriff's departments to run rehabilitation programs that basically took a inmate who was completing their sentence that was housed in the county jail and allow them to go out and work at a regular type. In other words, like say they went to school and learned how to be a mechanic while they were in prison. It would allow them to go be a mechanic out in the field, and the money that they earned would be placed into an account to number one is to pay restitution, and the rest of the money would be placed into an account so that when they leave the jail, they would have the ability to go pay rent, to go pay utilities, to go whatever they needed to do to be able to succeed would help them to do that.
That's excellent.
It was, and it got to be a fight because there was people didn't understand what it really did, so there was some miscommunications about it, misunderstandings about it, but so in the end we wound up with just a pilot program for Rankin County. Sheriff Bailey's been doing similar stuff like this for a long time, and he's very good at what he does. We have the best jail system in the state of Mississippi without a doubt, right over here in Rankin County. And what he's been doing, this will add on to that, and it'll be like the finishing touch for that, so that these folks that he's worked with to allow them to succeed when they get out of jail.
Well, we look forward to that. I mean, that's going to help a lot of people down the line. Hopefully, it's going to not only put them back in society, but make our communities even stronger, just because they're utilizing those skills in a good way.
That is exactly right. And the programs that he's put in place, especially the faith-based programs, where he's given people not only the chance to succeed when they get out, but giving them a reason to succeed with the knowledge that they have, the faith that they have to get out.
Excellent, excellent. Well, two pieces of unfinished business, I guess, that we'll talk about: state income tax and medical marijuana. Let's start with probably the easier one first. Medical marijuana. That is right now is it's all in the Supreme Court's hands because the legislation that you all tried to get through did not make it.
It did not make it. And so if this is thrown out of court, the Supreme Court, if they rule in favor of the lawsuit, then there's no medical marijuana bill. Which means if the people still want medical marijuana, they got to start all over. They got to get a petition up. They got to go through the whole deal. We're talking at least 2 years off. We did have a bill, and it did die, but that bill said if this one is, ruled in favor of the lawsuit, then this one will take its place. We actually came back with a bill at the end that was exactly like 65. Same exact thing. At first, we were told there was a bill that was exactly like 65, and it wasn't. They made a few changes, and that bill failed. And we came back at the very end with one in the Senate that said, okay, we'll take 65 exactly as it is. The only difference was that it wouldn't be in the Constitution, that it would be in general law. And in general law, of course, it can be amended. Some people don't want that. They want to end the Constitution so it can never be amended. But everything changes over a period of time. And we felt like, and I still feel like, that something of that magnitude should not be in the Constitution. I strongly feel that way. I think it should be, you don't know what's going to happen. I think it should be so that if it needs to be changed, we can change it and not have to wait a year or two to change it. And then it may not change because it'd be by the people. We're elected to represent the people, and we're supposed to do what they want, and we're there to do that. And hopefully we are doing that and listening to the people. But now, no one's going to agree on everything. And so Gene would have gotten 100% of the votes last time. Everybody doesn't agree on everything, and not supposed to.
But at least from what you're hearing, do you believe it's going to get out of the Supreme Court?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's really just
Every lawyer you talk to has a different opinion about that. So, I talk to a lot of lawyers who say it's a viable argument. What the Supreme Court views as a viable argument is a whole different story because every lawyer reads the English language completely different than the next one.
If Supreme Court upholds it and it becomes in the Constitution, then that's taken care of. Supreme Court rules against how it was done, well, then they go all back to the starting blocks. And as you said, 2 years. But given the overwhelming support at the polls that got, does the legislature, you think, feel compelled to get something pushed through?
Oh, I think
probably
so.
The next session.
I think so. I do. If it fails in court, then I feel sure the legislature will have to do that. By the way, I kept hearing from everyone, including the press, that it passed by 74%. So we asked the Secretary of State to give us a letter stating that, and it passed by 62%.
But still, in political terms, that's a lot.
That's strong.
I mean, either way,
that's strong, but it's not as strong.
No, it's not.
But it's strong.
But it does show that the people believe that medical marijuana can help people, and that it's something that we need to do. So if it does in fact fail in the Supreme Court, or if it gets knocked down in the Supreme Court, then I believe the legislature will come back and do something with it next year so that we can move it forward.
Yeah, I have no doubts that the intent is to provide medical marijuana for those people that need it.
Final topic here for you, and I'll start with over in the House side because it is the Speaker of the House's number one agenda item for next session. Will be pushing through or advancing a state income tax reduction. Mr. Newman, where do you think that's going to go?
Well, I was a co-sponsor on that bill, so I'm definitely in favor. When you look at the city of Pearl in my district, and the majority of my district is blue-collar workers, and they go to work every day, they pay income taxes, and it directly affects them. And so I believe that would help the majority of them. And that's the reason I co-sponsored it, and that's the reason I worked for it. I believe that we will figure out a way to do something with it next year. You know, it was something that the House had been working on for a long time, and we just didn't do a good enough job of working with the other side, and we failed at that. So hopefully we'll do better this coming year.
Well, I think, would you agree with that?
Oh, look, I'm not saying whether it's a good bill or a bad bill.
No, that it was just maybe some bad communication between the two sides?
Well, yes. Actually, we got the bill like 2.5 weeks before deadline. And now I understand they've been working on it, the Speaker and some others, for like 4 years. If it took them 4 years to put it together, you really can't expect the Senate to see if it's a good bill or not in 2.5 weeks. So we felt like there were some things in it that need to be changed, and I think the Speaker maybe agreed to that and said change it. Well, what else needs to be changed, we don't know. So we've hired outside from other states, supposedly experts, to come in and tell us what they think about it. We just think that it needs to be studied. Our lieutenant governor is a tax attorney. He went to Notre Dame, graduated from Notre Dame, and Notre Dame Law School, and then NYU for tax. So he knows and he understands. Now, I know the Speaker's also an attorney. I don't know if he's a tax attorney or not, but he's an attorney. But anyway, the Speaker and the Lieutenant Governor just couldn't agree on that particular thing, and the Lieutenant Governor convinced us, and I do think he's right. We're not saying it's a good bill or a bad bill. We just want to make sure that it's fair to everyone.
Well, and almost that it's revenue neutral, because whatever you're going to lose the state in being able to pay bills from getting income taxes, where are we replacing it, right?
That's right.
Yeah, but increase in sales tax.
I mean, but that's the number one thing, is you have to decide
Yeah.
on how it becomes revenue neutral almost.
Yeah, if it becomes revenue neutral. Even the governor said that he wants to do away with income tax. Of course, the income tax is like 1/3 of our total budget, our total revenue incoming. That's not something you can just easily replace.
Nope.
You're talking how many? Two points.
It's $1.9 billion.
Yeah.
And you'll hear people say, I don't mean to interrupt you, Senator,
Yeah,
but
that's
you'll
fine.
hear people say, well, just cut that out of the budget. Okay, we can cut
you
that out of
can't.
the budget, but then we're going to cut teachers' pays, and we're going to cut teachers. We're going to cut the Highway Patrol. We're going to cut the Department of Corrections. You know,
You're going to cut 1/3 of services.
You're gonna-
If you tell them to take away, you just take it out, well, that's 1/3 of services goes away.
that's
Yeah.
right. You can't
And
you can't
then-
do that.
And one of our main concerns was how will this affect the retirees that do not pay income tax anyway on their retirement?
Because if you raise sales
So all
tax,
you're doing is raising their sales tax. So we
Right.
need to balance this thing out. And I'm not saying that it can't be done. And a matter of fact, I hope that it can be
everything is possible. Anything is possible.
done. But if you're going to balance it, somebody's going to pay.
Absolutely, yes.
And with the
no
sales
free
tax,
meals.
that's a tax of choice.
True.
I hear people all the time say, "Well, you just raising. I'm retired. You just raising my taxes." Well, no, I'm not. You have a choice as to whether or not you go and buy that, or whether you don't buy that, or you.
Because it would actually drop the grocery tax
That's
as
what
well.
I was going to say, but it drops the grocery taxes. And what I was looking at in terms of retired persons is, I know too many elderly women who don't have a lot. They have a Social Security. The husband set them up with a home, but they got Social Security, and that's all they've got. And they're drawing $800 to $1,000 a month, and the majority of the money that they're spending goes to groceries.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, by the time they pay their car insurance and homeowners insurance and the
Utility bill.
yeah, utility bills, well,
agree
then
with
the
that.
rest of their money goes to groceries. And you look at, if you cut that grocery tax in half, to them saving $300 a year means a big difference.
Absolutely.
And again, that sounds good, and I like that idea. But here's another part of that equation, I guess, is first off, the grocery tax was going to be phased out over years, not immediately like that. But your sales tax was going up immediately. Now the grocery tax also, I want you to know that, as a matter of fact, I did this the other day myself. I bought groceries and I came home and I thought, I wonder what percent of that really wouldn't have been taxed had this bill passed.
$3.
40% of my bill was not groceries at the grocery store.
Yeah.
It was paper goods, whatever, Tide, whatever.
Yeah.
So when you go to the grocery store, if you buy just groceries, that's fine. But we have to have it so it's edible goods only. If not, every grocery store would be selling tires and everything else, because people wouldn't be taxed.
Yeah.
So it has to be edible goods only.
Oh, you'll soon be able. If that goes through, we'll be getting tires at Kroger here on
Yeah, that's right.
Lonnie T. Jenkins over
It
here.
might be a little bit chewy.
Or airplanes or whatever.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to that. That's going to be a good spirited debate, I think.
I
as we
think
go to
it
the
will,
next
and I
session.
think it's something that we can work out. I just think it's going to take a period of time. I like their idea. I think everyone likes to decrease taxes. I hate to pay taxes, I don't mind telling you, but I understand also that we can't bankrupt the state doing it. So.
Well, gentlemen, excellent job this session. I know
Well,
it was,
thank you. It was really a tough session. And it's,
Not as tough as COVID last year, but
well, I'm not so sure.
Last year was hard because it was so stretched out and so.
well, you went all the way to October.
Yeah.
Yes.
And but it was also it was so disjointed. You didn't meet like you normally meet.
Now you just got to meet and fight.
You couldn't meet with committees hardly. It was just everything last year was hard. This year we were in a lot of ways we were back normal, and especially down toward the end of the session we were normal, and then we had all that money that we had to deal with, and do the best job that we could do for the people of the state of Mississippi, and
Yeah.
not
It
spend
was-
anything that we didn't need to spend.
This one was fast and furious. And I'm going to tell you that, as I've said before, it's not always what you pass. A lot of times it's what you don't pass that help the people. Because people have great ideas on things, but they're not thought through a lot of times. And any good bill, and Gene knows this, any really good bill, on the average, if it's a really, really good bill, will take 3 years to pass.
That's right.
It really does, because you need to tweak it in every way and turn it around and make sure that it's good for everyone, or it's not a good bill.
So 2024 for state income tax.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Possibly.
If we go by that moniker of 3 years.
Well,
so we'll see.
that's the average
Okay.
on good legislation, and some pass into, and we have some that just pass like that.
Yeah.
But
Then you go
most
back and
really
fix
really complicated bills for everyone for it to be studied and everyone to totally understand it, to get enough votes to pass it, usually is about 3 years.
Well, you guys not only represent the city of Pearl so well, but Rankin County as a whole, and honestly the state of Mississippi. You guys are true gentlemen and very good at what you do.
Well, thank you very much. We work hard at it. Gene does. Matter of fact, all of our Rankin County delegation does.
We have a good delegation for Rankin County.
We do,
We've got
and
some
we
great guys.
We
who
pretty
are-
much stick together on things, and we push things together. And by people that they're in our delegation, being on various committees or chairing different committees, we can get a lot done for Rankin, which we've done this year. And we've got some good things happening.
Yeah, the people at the legislature call us the Rankin County Mafia.
It's all right, if we get it done. hey,
Call us what you want. Just let
just
us.
don't look in my trunk, right? I mean, all right, gentlemen, thank you. We will have you guys back on. I know it's your summer vacation now, so sort of.
Yeah. Well, we are, and of course we're excited about the municipal elections. And I look, even those that ran and lost, I appreciate them.
Absolutely.
The incumbents that lost, I appreciate them, because it's easy to be outside the arena and looking down and watching, but when you're in the game, it's a different game.
It's a commitment, and
It's
it is a sacrifice that you have to make.
and not only to those candidates, but to their families.
Absolutely.
And, when you get a phone call or your daughter answers a phone and somebody's saying ugly words and saying bad things about you, then your daughter starts crying, you think, why am I in this?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to overlook that. And you got to have thick skin, and you got to do what's right for the people. You're not going to make everyone happy all the time. You just got to do the best you can do.
Well, you've learned that a lot up there on the hill. That's for
Well,
sure.
thank you. We try hard.
Well, gents, we'll have you back on again soon.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate y'all.
You got it. Well, we will be back with more This Week in Pearl right after this.
Come find your taste buds at the Lost Cajun. Chef Charles is cooking everything to order. Cajun classics like gumbo, jambalaya, and red beans and rice. Pick your po' boy, shrimp, oyster, roast beef, or maybe gator. Proudly serving USDA farm-raised catfish. When you're done, loosen the belt up a bit for some homemade beignets. Dine in, take out, order online, and get it delivered. Reserve our party room for your group. Find your way to the Lost Cajun in Pearl and Byram.
Well, before we leave, we have two more items for you. I'd like to take you out to the ribbon cutting that took place this week over at the Hines Community College Administration Building on the Rankin campus, just off of Highway 80 here in Pearl, where the new home of the Wynn Job Center has been located up on the second floor of the administration building. They held a ribbon cutting there, and lots of dignitaries turned out, including our own mayor, Jake Wyndham. It's a great new facility. You know, many of you may have had the opportunity to visit that old Wynn Job Center that was off of Old Brandon Road, right there behind Patton Plaza. Well, this is certainly going to be easier to get to, and a lot better technology there at the administration building up there on the second floor. So whether you are unemployed and seeking benefits, whether you're new to the job market and just looking to break in and need some training or some help in doing a resume, or if you're looking to change careers and need some training in a specific field, you know, now that they're teamed up with Hines, it's a great partnership that you can learn the medical field, technology, you know, anything that you can think of, they can help train you for over there. So the Wynn Job Center is not just for people that are unemployed and out of a job, although it's a great resource, and we highly encourage you to make sure you make your way over there. But again, if you're just looking to hone your skills or refine your skills, please go visit that new Wynn Job Center up on the second floor of the administration building at Hines Community College on the Rankin campus. And finally, I want to tell you about a bit of a weather alert. So on Friday, we have a chance of severe storms once again. We've been very fortunate here in Pearl as we've kind of missed all of the really bad stuff to this point. Big hail, tornadoes, any real wind damage. But, you know, it is the spring season. So on Friday night, we have another chance for some enhanced storms that could move through the city of Pearl. Just want to make you all weather aware, know how to get your weather alerts. We will keep you updated, certainly on all of our Pearl channels, our platforms on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and even our text alert service, which is fantastic. If we have any kind of severe warnings here in the city, or heaven forbid any damage, we're going to get you that information right away to your cell phone. All you have to do to get signed up for those city alerts is text the word Pearl, either uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter, just the word Pearl to 91896 on your cell phone. That's 91896. Text the word Pearl, and you will be kept in the loop on everything going on in the city, whether it's emergencies or just big notifications of things happening. Hope you enjoyed today's program. It was very informative, learned a lot of great new things. So until next time, I'm Greg Flynn, and this is Pearl, where we are the jewel of the crossroads.